Remodeling 101. I should tell you a little bit about my background. We have a beautiful daughter. My husband's back there. And she is 21 and she has cerebral palsy. I lost my breath. Okay, and so we've been married for 5 years and we bought this house and it needed to be remodeled. And now's the time. So, hindsight, anyway, okay, so I'll probably get back to that. The whole remodeling thing. We live on the first floor. We have a basement. It's nicely finished, but it has stairs, and so, we're not down there that much. But for the remodel, Ross and I were downstairs. Macy took over our room, and we have 2 cats, 2 very fun, cute cats. Well, before the remodel happened, there was my cat, Mabel. And she wasn't doing well, and we knew she wasn't doing well, and she had passed away. And I'm a Facebook junkie, and on Facebook, I was one of my many groups, and and we noticed that there was a cat that needed to be rehomed, and it was a rag doll. And if any cat fans out there, rag dolls are like the top of the line, and part Persian too, and it's like petting cashmere. And so, I was pretty excited when I saw this cat needed a home. I mean, typically if you buy these cats, they're super expensive. And so I'm kind of frugal. And so when it comes to cats, not shoes. Right, Ross? And so anyway, I went to Ross that, I said, geez, this is a really great opportunity, but the timing kind of stinks because we're about to start this big remodel, and we know Mabel, my other cat, wasn't doing very well, and so, just not sure what to do with it. So we did do a reach out to this family and say, you know what, we really would make this a great home for this cat, but here's what's happening in our life. And so anyway, they said, well, okay, let's just see what happens. Well, as it had worked out, Mabel went to cat heaven, and I went to Ross. I said, we talked about it and said, okay, maybe this is the time. And our contractor says, guess what? We're starting next week. So we get this new cat. We're remodeling, and we have our other cat, Moxie, who I should tell you about because she lives up to her name, Moxie. She's nuts. She jumps up to our countertops in like a single bound, and she's just like running all over the place like crazy, and she's just very high energy. And Miss Kitty, from what is our cat that we're thinking about adopting. So, and she lives up to her name too. She's just all this pristine thing, like I'm a rag doll. That's right. And so, I thought, well, let's just see how it works out. So, with the remodel happening all at once, and Ross and I really balance each other out. I'm kind of more of a by the seat of my pants kind of gal, and he's more of we got to have lists, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And we balance each other out very, very well. And so when we're getting ready for the remodel, he put a sign on our bedroom door where the cats would be because we had to separate the 2 of them. Moxie was downstairs, Miss Kitty was upstairs because they didn't get along. And if you've ever had to introduce a cat into a new house, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They did not get along. And so we did that, and we put a sign on our bedroom door saying, cat in this room, please look out. So, and we had that for a while. And and I should back up a little bit because Miss Kitty, when we first brought her home, we thought, the 2 would maybe just get along, magically. No, it didn't happen that way. And our mattress, Ross and I were a blended home, we're a blended family, and our mattress, how they have that little mesh thing on the bottom? Well, it was torn a little bit. Miss Kitty literally went in between the mesh and the mattress and hid all day long. We could not find this cat. It's like, what the hell is going on here? And we heard this meowing, but no cat. And so we looked, and here she was in the mattress. And like, what the heck? So we finally got her out, wet food. That was the ticket. So we're fast forwarding a little bit. to the remodel. And so we're really excited because this remodel needs to happen. Macy is 21. She's a peanut, but she's still, we needed to do this. And the bathroom was the biggest change. Our house, her bedroom's on one side, the bathroom's on the other side, and we're putting a door in between her room and the bathroom and totally tiling the bathroom. If any of you ever need to do an accessible home, we're the ones to talk to. And so anyway, the plumbers were here. And the plumbers are not the contractors, okay? So the sign thing and the cat thing, they don't get it. They haven't been there long enough to understand what's going on. And so now we're about in December, early December, because, and we kind of had a routine down now with the whole remodel thing. And Ross, how many of you have heard of Family Voices of North Dakota? We help families who have children with special needs. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. And anyway, we were doing a Santa meet and greet. Ross was our Santa. And so we were getting ready. And we had a caregiver. She was kind of new to our family, for Macy, to take her to the Santa meet and greet as well, because she was a helper. And we were like, kind of crazy, getting everything ready, getting the suit on and all. It's like, we haven't really seen Miss Kitty around today. What could that be? And so Ross, we took out we have a routine, and he feeds the cats the wet food, same time every night. And so he took out the wet food. No Miss Kitty. It's like, God, this is not a good sign. And so we're like, okay, we're just going to go, hope that she just was sleeping or something, and just go to the Santa meet and greet, because the kids were there. They were waiting for Santa. And so we're there, and and we went out for supper, and Macy and the caregiver went back home, and we told the caregiver, now, when you go home, if you see or hear anything of Miss Kitty, please let us know. And she's like, okay, yep, you got it. Because we called the contractor. It's like, did you happen to see Miss Kitty all day? Maybe she snuck out the door when you guys were bringing materials in. We're kind of stressed out, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to have to tell this family that we adopted her from that she's dead after a week, and that would have been really sad. But so we're there, and all of a sudden I get a text message, and I'm like, oh shit. The plumber used our bathroom, opened the door, did not see Miss Kitty sneak out of our room, into the bathroom, into the floor that was opened up to move the plumbing. She jumped into the floor. He sealed the floor. Yes. And Carissa, the caregiver, hears this meow, meow, in the floorboard. I mean, it's a horror story just waiting to happen. It's just, the Edgar Allan Poe Telltale Heart, there's this cat in the floor. And so we're like, shit, so we get home, we're having, because, Ross is such a great Santa, and it was a great event, and we're having supper. And my life is actually hindsight. You know what? I'm backtracking a lot here, but if it weren't for my hindsight's first marriage, I wouldn't have my awesome husband right now, Ross. Yeah. So anyway, we get home, Santa suit and all, and we're like, okay, how are we going to do this? So we called the contractor, and he said, yeah, I did nail those down, but I also glued the floor down. So Ross is ripping up the floor. He's a conservative guy, and he was saying words that I have not heard him say before, and like the F-bomb. He's like, fucking cat! He was so mad. And so then, he opens up a little piece, and I have the wet food down there, like, come on, Miss Kitty, come on. Not doing it. And so we had to open up a bigger portion of the bathroom floor that's been nailed and glued. And he looks like that fucking cat could have come out if she would have wanted to. And so he's like, we're leaving her alone. And so then, like we did, we just left the scene of the crime, let everything settle down. Lo and behold, we come back about 10, 15 minutes later, and she's walking around. And he's like, that's it. We're sealing the floor. It's all done. And we're going to put more signs up in the house so the contractors, not just the contractor, the plumbers, everyone knows that we have cats in the house and not to open any holes in our house and seal them without checking the cats. Hindsight, if you have pets and you're remodeling, check every hole. Yeah.